Juror number 2 is a 2024 American legal thriller film co-produced and directed by Clint Eastwood and written by Jonathan Abrams. The film stars Nicholas Hoult, Toni Collette, J.K. Simmons and Kiefer Sutherland. In the film, a man serving on a jury of a high-profile murder trial realizes that he may be responsible for the victim's death. Juror number 2 had its world premiere at the AFI Fest on October 27, 2024 and was released in the United States by Warner Bros. Pictures on November 1, 2024. The film received positive reviews from critics and was named one of the top 10 films of 2024 by the National Board of Review. Some interesting trivia notes. Collette and Hoult reunited 22 years after playing mother and son in About a Boy, released in 2002. This was the second time working together for Deutsch and Hoult as well, after the film Rebel in the Rye, released in 2017. Production would begin in June 2023 when Eastwood was 93 years old, with filming locations including Savannah, Georgia and Los Angeles, before it was suspended in July due to the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike. Production then resumed in November upon the conclusion of the strike. The post-production had wrapped in April 2024. Mark Mancina composed the score for the film. He previously worked on Eastwood's Cry Macho in 2021. The victim, Kendall Carter, is played by Francesca Eastwood, daughter of director Clint. Kiefer Sutherland got his part by writing to Clint Eastwood, telling him what a big fan of his he was, and that he wanted to star in one of his movies before he retired. Kiefer's dad, Donald Sutherland, had co-starred with Clint in Kelly's Heroes in 1970 and Space Cowboys in 2000. The film was initially only to be released on Max, the streaming service. Later, it was given a theatrical release. In the United States, the film opened up in 35 theaters and grossed an estimated $90,000 on its first day and $260,000 to $270,000 over the weekend. Warner Bros. Did not want to report the official numbers to reportedly save face for Eastwood by avoiding any negative box office headlines. Internationally, the film would go on to gross $5 million from 6 territories in its opening weekend, including $3.1 million in France, where the film has also received good reviews from critics. The film would collectively gross $24.8 million against a budget of an estimated $35 million. Now, I found this to be a fascinating, introspective film with some terrific performances from all the cast, but in most particular, Nicholas Hoult. This really is a legal thriller that really deals with the idea of having a conscience. And the film, it once again shows you Clint Eastwood's ability to be such a phenomenal director and tell interesting stories and really get the best out of his cast. What this film now, of course, cleverly does is it now focuses on the jurors. This, of course, is something that's completely overlooked in most TV and movie adaptations as we focus on the legal drama and the lawyers and, of course, the judge. But this one now sort of goes behind the scenes and sees how a jury deliberates and, of course, comes to its conclusion of guilty or not. In many ways, this is a film about how the system can fail, even if everybody is trying their best. And in many ways, I feel almost reflects Eastwood's perspective on his growing cynicism and effectiveness of the government and legal institutions. This is one of those films that really leaves you asking questions and makes you decide what you feel about the characters. Nicholas Hoult, who plays Justin Kemp, is a journalist who's called up for jury duty. He's a good man and a recovering alcoholic, expecting his first child with his wife, played by Zoe Deutsch. Unexpectedly, after being called up to jury duty, he soon realizes he knows far more about the victim in the case than he thought was possible. Now Kemp, of course, is being put between a rock and a hard place. Does he do the right thing and admit to his involvement in this killing, meaning that he could spend 30 years in prison? Or, of course, does he try and find a not guilty plea for the man accused of murdering his girlfriend? Or, third option, does he just find him guilty and move on with his life? No one being the wiser. Kemp, though, like I said to you earlier, is a good man that wants to do the right thing, but of course he doesn't want to give up either and give away his freedom. And this is where the complicated story unfolds. Toni Collette also turns out as a fantastic performance here as a prosecutor on the Carter case. And even getting the likes of J.K. Simmons and, of course, Kiefer Sutherland in what are very minor roles just sort of adds credence to this already excellent and well-made film. But it's Hoult for me who's the complete and utter standout. He plays Kemp as a likable, enduring character who you really become fond of during the course of the movie. You feel empathetic towards him and his new life, and in some ways don't want him to admit his wrongdoings, but in the same breath, though, it is the right thing to do. And this creates, of course, the moral dilemma. In the hands of a lesser actor and a lesser director, this is a film that could tragically fall apart, but instead here we have a clever, dynamic film that is exceptionally well paced, well told, well directed, and well acted. With its excellent script, Superb direction from the ever-present Clint Eastwood. Phenomenal acting here from Hoult, Toni Collette and the rest. Juror number 2 gets a 9 out of 10.